Hello everybody. Now what I'm going to do in this part is I'm going to give you a clue for each of the 10 answers. Okay? And then you stop it whatever you want and you correct it. After I've got to the last one, then I'll write the answers. As usual, if you don't try to make an effort to get it right or think about it, if you just copy it and perhaps badly, which happens sometimes, it's going to be a waste of time for me and for you from the learning point of view, which is the intention. This is not just to show your parents that you are doing something. The intention is that you learn and then you can actually take a test and pass and use your English as accurately as possible. Okay, so ready? Here you need a noun and it's a person. Okay, there are two nouns for begin. One is a person, one is abstract. Okay, and then something else. Remember, consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, so this is like cut, cutting, put, putting, etc. Okay, here you need an adjective about how you feel, someone who is or who feels generally. Okay, so you need the adjective to describe how you feel. Okay, it took this means it required a lot of, so after a lot of many you need a noun. The noun for persuade, which is convince, is the same as in Spanish. Okay, exactly the same spelling, different pronunciation. Now again, I was, this is I felt. Okay, so it's an adjective and it's about how you feel. Now here you need the noun. It's the same, it took a lot of, it doesn't take much, so the same as before, you need a noun. Okay, now how I was, so how, this is like I felt, so you need an adjective for feelings. Okay, the experienced, so the adjective, you need a noun. Okay, and you need a person because it is waiting for him. Some of you wrote the abstract noun for instruct, but it's waiting for him. This him is this person, so you need a noun. Okay, now at n speed, so this is a noun, you need an adjective. Now believe starts with B, so this has N. Why is this N? Because this doesn't start with a consonant. Okay, so think about the adjective, be careful with the spelling. Okay, and this, remember I told you about a trick for this, I'll tell you again later. Okay, now the word became, after become is like verb to be, so you have an adjective. Okay, so think about the ending, and after a landing you need an adjective for this, so the adjective, so be very careful with the spelling and also with the ending. Okay, so pause the video or pause the video after each of them and try to correct them. Now I'm going to give you the answers. Okay, so let's see if someone can actually do it well. Okay, ready? So sorry. Okay, so double N, consonant, vowel, consonant, stress, so beginner is the person as a beginner. Frightened. Okay, frightened, ed. To frighten is asustar, so this is how you feel. Persuade, like in Spanish, persuasion, persuasion, it's the same without the accent. Okay, determined, we said it was feelings, so determined. From imagine, imagination, this is relatively easy, imagination. Now I told you about this, when it is ing it stays like that, but here is feelings, so terrified. Okay, now the person is like doctor, instructor, supervisor. Okay, OR. Sometimes it can be like player, ER, instructor is OR, like doctor. Now, I've told you about this, but not many times. Believable. Imagine, do you need the E to pronounce this V? I mean, is this letter necessary? For example, would you still pronounce that believable? Yes. So if the pronunciation doesn't change when you remove the E, then you remove it. Okay? And now I'll explain something else. And then this is negative. Because you have N, you need a vowel, so unbelievable. For example, if you had change here, if you put this, how do you pronounce that? For example, how do you pronounce this? Okay, GA, the combination GA is ga. So if here you removed that, that would be changeable. From change, you change the pronunciation to changeable. Okay, for example, or the same with notice. Notice, if you remove the E, the combination CA is K or K. The pronunciation would change. So there you need the E. So that is noticeable. Okay, that's not a rule, but it's nearly always like that. Okay, so when it's not necessary because VA is still V, the E disappears. Sometimes it is okay to leave it. In some words, it's not okay. Like lovable, likable, mistakable, there both options are correct. Okay, but here in believable, unbelievable, no. So try to remember, because you may get lucky and it may be both may be correct, or sometimes only one is correct. Okay, so the spelling of unbelievable. Now from peace, peaceful. Now here you have to be careful. From succeed, this is the pronunciation is E, but successful. So be very careful. Full, the same as useful. Okay, one L, and then one E, because the pronunciation is success. It's not succeed. Success. Yeah, it's success. And then double S, like business. Okay, so be very careful. You need to write an extra sentence with each of these, and I've got your exams. So yeah, okay. So actually, you can do that. You can send me. I've got your exams. If I don't believe you, which I may not, I just check your exam. Okay. So an extra sentence. My exam wasn't successful. My life will be so peaceful when my parents go back to work. Okay. Okay. I want to be a swimming instructor when I'm older. This situation is unbelievable. Okay. So now these prepositions, so I'll just tell you because it is what it is. So if you didn't find out because you didn't care enough to look at the book. Okay, insist on doing something. Okay. Call off, double F is cancel. Most of you got them well, more or less. You're involved in some dirty business. You congratulate someone on, I had I think it was the president of the UK or something, say for, but normally it's on. So try to remember on. And then rely on. Okay? Rely is like depend on. So you can rely on me. If I say that I'll correct something, I'll do it. Rely on. Now this one, since there are a lot and they are different, we'll do, I don't know. What you need to do is stop it after each sentence which you got wrong. Now for you to notice the thing about feeling of the language, my son did this. I think he got a 12.5. Okay, I helped him with one because he didn't know this. He didn't know this, if only. Okay, but he did the rest of them alone, like including this one. I don't know where he made a mistake. Okay, he didn't know this one, for example. The one about Mrs. Damas, he didn't know that one, and I think this one, he didn't know this one either. And then he got half a point somewhere. Here, I think he got half a point. So, and I haven't really explained this to him. So this is just from reading and speaking and so on. So it's not that difficult. But it may require from you an effort to understand or watch the videos with all the explanations. Okay, so I'll give you one at a time. Ready? So you should pause it before I give you the answer. So wish, anything. This is the past. This is what I did with all the exercises. We did like 8 or 9 exercises, or yes, I think so, 7 or 8 exercises with these things. And I always told you, okay, this is about the past. Now if you don't remember, because either you haven't looked at it or you haven't made an effort to remember, then it's the result. This is the result that you deserve. This is very simple. Okay, so for the past, so anything about the past is past perfect. Remember that in most of these, it works like the conditional. So if it is about something likely, you use present. If it is unlikely or unreal, but it refers to now, use past simple. And everything that refers to the past is past perfect. So that works with most of them. So I did it, so I wish I hadn't given up. And then the forms, if some of you I hadn't gave, if you don't know the forms, then you're making it very difficult for you. Like I want to be messy, but I don't want to run, so it's going to be difficult. Okay, here you had to use if only. Okay, if only is the same as I wish. So I said it refers to the past, so stop it if you need to think about it. I had it. Okay, this is the same. Rather, you have I have a preference for someone else, so you need to use the past simple. So I would, some of you got confused there, I would rather you didn't go out. Okay, use past simple. This is the same as in Spanish. Yo preferiría que tú no salieras. Salieras is subjunctive. So subjunctive is past simple in English. Okay, it felt like, this is the same. No, I felt, so it felt as though I was flying. Was I flying? No, but it felt as though I was flying. In any case, this is the past already, so this is very easy. Now, you want someone else to do something. Remember, don't make changes that don't need to be made. So Mrs. Danvers should stay the same. So I wished Mrs. Danvers would leave. Okay? When you want someone else to do something, you use would. That's it. Okay? I wish my parents would buy me a new phone. I wish David wouldn't give us any homework. Which is very easy. You can just leave the group. I may actually be happy. Okay, so then you don't get any homework. You shouldn't do things that you really don't want to do. Okay, so I wished, because it's past. Remember, you can't change the word given. Miss Damas would leave. Okay, so what could happen if someone saw you? This is hypothetical, but it refers to the future. So suppose is the same as the conditional. So suppose, okay, 3, 2, stop it. Suppose someone saw you. Okay, suppose someone, this is someone, okay? Suppose someone saw you. It's hypothetical. Imagine someone saw you. What if someone saw you? Suppose someone saw you. So this is the same as the condition, I tell you. I can't. So for things that you can't do, you use wish. So I wish I could. This is the same as the other one. I feel as though both are correct. I don't agree, but I think it should be where. But if you wrote I give it as correct because I think the book gave it as correct, but I don't really agree. I think it should be this. Okay, you are not happy with the current situation. You live in Elda now, but you don't like it. So past simple when you are unhappy with the current situation. Okay. So 3, 2, stop it. Okay. So I wish I didn't live in Elda. The narrator in Rebecca said, I wish I were a woman of 36. I wish I was wearing, or yes, I wish I was wearing expensive clothes and makeup or something. Okay, so you're not happy with the current situation. Now, time. Something should have already started. So you say time plus past simple. So it's time you started studying. Okay, this should have already started. It's time we took a break, whatever. Now, I'm a teacher now. So this is mixed conditional. I studied a lot. So the conditional, if I hadn't studied a lot, now in the present, second conditional. Some of you got confused. Be careful with reality. I wouldn't, or you put it together, I wouldn't be a teacher now. If the virus hadn't left China, now we wouldn't be in this confinement. Okay, so something in the past has a consequence in the present. This is relatively easy to understand. It's very common. Without realizing, you use mixed conditional. Okay, you have to use as if. And Did you, this refers to the past. So you look as if anything for the past is, okay, try to correct it. Okay, anything about the past with these structures is past perfect. Okay, so did you see a ghost? No, but you look as if you had seen a ghost. I took the bus, past, the ticket was expensive, past. So this is third conditional. If the train hadn't been so expensive, did you take the bus? Yes, you did. So it's, you say the opposite. I wouldn't have taken the bus. You're lucky no one saw you. So this is about the past. To talk about the past, past perfect. So suppose someone, did anyone see you? No, but suppose what would have happened if someone had seen you? Past perfect. And when you, this is for you only. So I'd rather eat pizza. Some of you wrote eaten or ate or something. I'd rather, this is would. Okay, would, and you had it here. Would rather. So after would, you can write the past. Okay, so I'd rather eat pizza. So the same for this one. Okay, you write an extra sentence. I'd rather sleep than have a lesson. I'd rather study French. I'd rather go to school and get infected. I'd rather, I don't know. Okay, so complete sentences using the structure that you got wrong. If you wrote ate, don't just write a sentence with I like to eat macaroni. No, that's not the idea. You need to write this structure. I'd rather do something than do something else. Okay, and notice I prefer ing to ing. Okay, so here, if you haven't tried, I'll just tell you and what's for you, but you should try. The words you need to use here are these words, like would, rather, prefer, wish, only, things like that. Okay, so again, my son did this one. He got all 10 correct. All 10. So I didn't help him here. So I know this is like the feeling of the language, reading and knowing what word is missing because you understand what you're reading. So anyway, but I don't. I prefer, I gave like as correct, although it's a bit strange. But anyway, I would prefer not to do, prefer not to, not rather. You can say rather. I would rather somewhere else. Rather doesn't have the to. Okay? I'd rather, like here, I'd rather eat. No, I'd rather to eat. So I prefer to. Okay. So for example, if only, okay, like I wish, if only I had taken, so I wouldn't have third form, I wouldn't have met my wife, and here you're omitting I wouldn't have. So I wouldn't have met my wife, and I wouldn't have had 3 lovely children. You can't say met, some of you wrote met. So I wouldn't have met my children. What does it mean, met my children? Doesn't make sense. No habría conocido a mis hijos. No habría tenido a mis hijos. Wish they can't live their life, so they wish they could. Avoid all the mistakes. The book gives have and had. I don't agree with had. I don't think it's correct, but I give it as correct because the book gives it as correct. But okay, they wish. This is in the present, so all the mistakes they have made in this life from the past until the present. Why had? Okay, because this is present. Some people wish, so I think this is wrong. But anyway, the book gave it as correct, so I gave it as correct. Okay, now here, yes. Would I rather be? You don't have to. Okay, so I wish I had. You don't have the energy you wish. Now, what about you? Hypothetically, would you change? And now, this is past, so it's you did something. It's time. So you also write an extra sentence for each of these. Okay. So I'm not going to give you send you the test. I'll just send you the video. So even if it is without listening, and you just copy the answers, which is very stupid, but there are all kinds of people. Okay, again, it'd be extremely stupid, but anyway, probably if you are doing it, is that you aren't even going to listen to this, so it's okay. You can live in ignorance. Okay, so to the PHP with one extra sentence for each of them. Okay, thank you. Bye.